Oh God.
I don't know what my only crime was being happy. That's all I did.
I appreciate you.
Holy shit, Danny.
Ooh, what an intro, right? What a song. What a compilation of videos. Hi. Hey, hello. What's up, Marks and Marquettes? This is a Market Down production. My name is Steve Zahn, and we're here to talk about Monday Night Raw, which was live from Ottawa, I believe. Another great Canadian crowd. Thank you, Canada, for the three lovely shows, three lovely, reactions. That just thank you for bringing that energy that we desperately needed in these shows. Thank you, Canada, as always. Thank you, Canada. I just went to the Blame Canada tour this past summer. Where Simple Plan and Sum 41 did a bunch of shows together, and it was great. So thank you, Canada. Thank you for all of that, for all you do. And South Park was wrong to blame you. But yes, this Raw emanated from Ottawa. I assume the place is called the Ottawa Arena because that has a nice ring to it. But if not, that's okay. We understand. Capitalism isn't just an American disease. But to start this show was Sami Zayn, the big hero / loser from this past Saturday's Elimination Chamber. Sami Zayn in the Chamber of Eliminations got a wonderful pop. He thanked the crowd for it. He was very emotional. He said, "I feel a lot of things right now. I feel gratitude for the reaction and the warmth you've given me these past few days." And it's just fantastic stuff from the crowd and Sami, just feeding off each other. It was nice. It was raw. It was real. He was talking like a real normal person, which, not everyone does in wrestling. So when people like Sami or someone who comes out a little later does it, it's that much more appreciated, at least by me and for a decent amount of people, I would assume. But he says he feels guilty for letting people down, for not winning the title, for coming up short in front of his family, his friends, in front of his home country. It's hard to not feel those things, but everyone's like, "No, Sami, you're the best. We love you. It's okay. I understand. We're not mad at you. We're sad at the situation." But he says he's not done with the bloodline, and he still intends to take them down. But he realized he couldn't do it alone, so he calls out former friend, on and off again enemy, on and off again friend, fellow Canadian, fellow guy who came in around the same time from the independents and made a big splash, Kevin Owens. And he came out and, Kevin Owens, pretty simple name, 2 first names, that's fine. But you put an S on a first name and it becomes a last name, Owens, Daniels. Only examples I can think of right now, but I'm sure there's more. But Sami says, "I'm so sorry." He's like, I had all these things I wanted to say to you, but now that you're actually out here, I don't know what to say. And again, that's a pretty real line. That's a real feeling, like you build something up in your head of how you want to say something, whether it's an apology or you want to tell someone off or to, say certain things. You think of it when the time comes, when push comes to shove, you lose it all and you don't know what to say. It happens to us all the time on this podcast, just with a lot lower stakes, But he says, he's like, I know I got to apologize, but I also want to say thank you for, saving me on Saturday. He's like, and I know you want to take down the bloodline too. And I know you're the type of person to not let something like that go. And you're going to keep trying to do it, but you can't do it alone. I can't do it alone. So we need to do it together. The crowd is in a frenzy. They want it. Owens has some great facial reactions to this throughout. And then he says back to him, he's like, "I've been fighting the bloodline alone this whole time. I don't need you. I told you back in November, I'm done with you. I don't want this. I don't want any part of this. So he, for now, has rebuffed Sammy's invitation. He said, if you want help taking down the bloodline, hit up your boy Jay. Ooh, there we go. There's the draw. We haven't seen Jay since Saturday. We don't know how he's feeling. He might be upset still. He's not a level-headed person per se, so he might take that spear personally, even though it was obviously an accident. But this is wrestling, and wrestlers don't seem to always understand that. So that's okay. I guess we'll have to forgive him for that one. But great segment. I was a fan of this. It was a decent follow-up to the pay-per-view, especially for Raw, considering the Bloodline isn't really on Raw. So it was a decent follow-up, and I like that they're not just immediately on the same page, and he's got to win his trust back. And that'll be good. That's the hook for the next few weeks. And then when they embrace, probably either the go-home show before Mania or the 2 weeks before, it's going to be amazing. The crowd's going to pop like crazy. They're going to be like, yeah, because John Blattner's here. What up, JB? Welcome to the party. We're talking about Canadians right now. As Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they had a nice segment together. But yeah, I'm very invested in the story still. Like I said, I think it's fine. Like, I've come to terms with Sami not winning. I came to terms with that ahead of time. I think they've done such a great job with the story that I don't feel the tag titles is as much of a step down as a lot of the fan base does. I mean, in terms of value of the title, absolutely step down. The tag titles are fucking meaningless. But if they main event night one, which I think they should be, I don't want to say that actually, but that came out so naturally. But I don't know for sure if I think they should, but they might as well, right? Because that story-wise, the most compelling match of the card is going to be that tag title match. So it should main event night one. Like, I'm all for the women's match main event in the night, but all right, look at that. We got comedy on the screen.
Get your fucking hands off me. You get your fucking hands off me.
All right. Thank you for that, producer boy. Lovely stuff. Natural. What a natural flow of things we got going on here at the Markdown Podcast. Very high quality production over here. But I don't think the tag titles are a huge step down because the story is there. The titles are step down, but the demonetized. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's where the line's drawn. I've never said anything that could possibly get us demonetized, but that's where the line was drawn, and YouTube is going to have some beef. But yeah, I don't think the women's match in main event WrestleMania this year, because Rhea vs. Charlotte isn't a good story. I know there's like a bunch of weeks left, but it's a Charlotte Flair story, so it's not going to be good. So I don't think that's really main event worthy, unfortunately. And I don't think Asuka Bianca is. So I think it has to be the tag titles on night one. But to be fair, I don't think night one is a main event. I don't think it counts because you wouldn't do it otherwise. They wouldn't main event if it was one night. So that's how I look at it. That might be a harsh stance on it, but I'm firm in that belief. The main event in night one is still like it's not really main eventing because it just wouldn't happen. None of those. Just look at it with that match headline over the Roman Reigns match, and the only one that did was the triple threat that should have been a singles match at 35, which I was at, and James was at, I think Eric was at, and maybe one of the Knicks was at. We don't know. Is he going to say? Were you at it? Is it going to play? It's kind of hard to read on my screen, so I can't actually read what that says. It's very blurry. But thank you for the... I thought it was going to be volume, so I'll act more naturally next time because I thought there was another video. But Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think main event? Do you think night one counts as a main event? Because I don't. Rev was at that WrestleMania. See, I told you one of the Knicks was. Zayn used to fight for ROH. Holy Maple Leaf. I think you're thinking of Al Generico. Totally different guy, but it's a common mistake everyone makes. But excuse me 1 second, guys. I'm going to take a sip of water. Natural. So yeah, happy with this. It wasn't much, but it didn't have to be much because I don't want the resolution to this right away. We've had this slow burn story for about 9 months now with Sammy. There's no need to rush now. You got plenty of weeks left till Mania. Let's see how things play out. We'll get there. So I was happy with this. And then they went to a commercial, and they came during the commercial in the picture-in-picture. Baron Corbin attacked Samuel Zaney, which is what Sami Zayn is short for, by the way. Samuel Zaney. And then they have a match. It was a whatever match. It was a decent match. I mean, the crowd, again, because the crowd was so good, they made it better than it was. The crowd was into it, so I kind of got into it a bit. And Sami Zayn won with the Luva kick out of nowhere. Good stuff. Not poor Corbin, but like poor Corbin, you know? Like, that guy, he doesn't need to repackage because they keep repackaging him. It doesn't work. Just give him some time off and let him come back and let people miss him or something close to resembling missing him, you know? Do you think when Corbin's talking to female friends and they ask or they're complaining about men and something men do, you think Corbin says not all men? Because he seems like he might. But yeah, Corbin needs some time off. He's good, but you know, I don't think anyone will argue that Corbin's not kind of stale. You know, he's not exactly. No one's excited to see Corbin anymore, and I don't think there's much you can do to change that right now. Maybe ever, but especially right now. I was trying to fit behind it. Okay. Yeah, who does want to see it? No one does. It's not a storyline. This is a 1 week thing or a 2 week thing with last week. But yeah, I understand who would want to see this match. It's just for Sammy to get a win after the loss. The show gave a lot of people heat back after the pay-per-view, and that's fine. This was just one of those things. After that, we had a sit-down interview with Rhea Ripley and Dom Dom, where they said a lot of nothing. She said she didn't really want to talk about Elimination Chamber. But after that, Beth had nothing but respect for her, but the feeling's not mutual, and she feels like they have unfinished business. And but for now, she's focused on Charlotte. Yeah, I played the role needed to. I agree. But man, I've said it last week on the show. I've already made some jokes about it here, and me and Rev did a whole podcast about it. Rhea facing Charlotte's the wrong move. Her and Asuka should really be swapped. It makes no sense. I understand the want for Rhea to get her win back over Charlotte, but I think Asuka needed it more, and the Rhea Bianca feud is more exciting than an Asuka Bianca feud. You know what I mean? I think that's pretty reasonable. But yeah, I think we all wish we had someone that looked at us the way Rhea looked at Prison Dom. You know, I mean, maybe that's why we hate on Dom so much, right? We want to be like him ultimately. I want a little rat tail in 2023, a little mullet, you know? But yeah, she says, you know, I'm still more excited for a potential Beth Rhea singles match than I am for a Charlotte one. And I'm actually excited for Rhea's title reign, presuming Charlotte doesn't Charlotte the situation and ruin it. Because she could have a title defense against Beth to get her win back, or they could have a match leading up to Mania. She can have a match with Becky, because I was teasing 2 different stare downs a while ago. So that's another thing that feels like a consequence of this, is that we're not going to get a payoff to those stare downs. Very hyped for Killer Clown Asuka, Rev. I understand. I am too. It should just be swapped. How much better would it be? Mainly down, have the same script. Yeah, more or less. Tom just makes fun of his deadbeat dad in one way or another. You know what? You can't write Dom too complexly, okay? He won't be able to handle it. He mistimed his fucking one big spot on fucking Saturday, so it could be better. But whatever. I'm still into Rhea. I'm willing to weather the storm to get to the end goal of Rhea just being champion. I guess it doesn't matter what show. Would just prefer it on Raw, But moving on. Theory cuts a promo, and he basically says, "Oh, gotcha." But I mean, we're basically getting there. But Theory cuts a promo. He's gonna face Cena at WrestleMania. He doesn't say that, but he's upset that John Cena's returning in 2 weeks, and it's like, why not just have him interrupt him in 2 weeks? Like, we all know he's gonna do it because he's been dropping subtle, not so subtle, but at least somewhat subtle hints. Just have him come out and interrupt him. Whereas now we know we always knew, but you know what I mean? Just don't do it. But whatever. Talks about how he's going to face Edge. I said this on the Elimination Chamber review, but Theory won me over a good amount in that match. But then shit like this is like, yeah, you're still like a formulaic guy. Like, the promos are decent, but they're very scripted. They feel very, very scripted. It feels like you wouldn't be able to thrive in any other environment. I just don't. Environment. Oh my god, what is going on here? I just don't. Environment. Oh my.
Okay, in my defense, I wasn't exactly gonna join immediately, but hi everybody.
Whoa. All right, we're being hijacked over here.
The Reverend has hijacked this stream. Hi.
What's up? Did you watch Raw?
I watched the highlights.
All right, good enough. What do you think about Theory facing Cena at WrestleMania?
It's interesting. I do kind of like it's Vince's boy, and I know we don't really talk about Vince anymore, but
they alluded to him last week on Raw.
I heard,
or on the pay-per-view,
yeah,
actually. But
it's Vince's boy versus the old golden child, which Cena was. So I like it. It's cool. I'm here for it.
What do you think about we got another year.
Another year. What's good, John?
What do you think about John Cena's hair and how he's balding in the back? And does it make you a little depressed?
A little.
Yeah. It's upsetting. But
I can understand his penchant to wear hats.
Yeah. I think he should really go back to doing that more often because oh boy.
Honestly, what weirds me out about Cena is like when The Rock decided to go to Hollywood and like really do it, he got like super ripped.
Mm-hmm.
Cena kind of went the other way and he like slimmed down a lot and his face narrowed out a lot and he looks so different.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way. Like he's still yoked, obviously, but like he decided to go a different route in terms of the way he's going to work out as a 40-year-old guy. It just kind of weirds me out that he's not jacked on facing CM Punk John Cena.
Yes. Cena looks sick, Eric says. I assume that's the tone that I was supposed to read that in. But to move on from that, because I'm sure we'll be talking about Cena in 2 weeks a lot. So I guess we'll wait to. Oh my god, we gotta have fucking James on the show for that probably. Fucking fanboy.
Jeez, I did not. All right, in my defense, I did not mean to click that.
Oh,
I was trying to unclick Eric's other comment, and that has now appeared, and we're here now. And yeah, that seems like something that would be on this stream because Danny's running it.
That popped me so much. That was so good. Oh man, comments of the fucking year so far. Beat that, Kevin or John. Or Dragoon. You're not going to beat that Dragoon, but you could try.
Oh, Dragoon, my guy.
After we had Ali versus Ziggler, and oh man, my initial reaction to this was like, oh, we're not having a good Raw tonight. Like, this is when it really sunk in that this show was not going to be shit compared to last week. Because I didn't give a fuck, and I love Ali, man. Remember when he wanted to be freed, and we had a whole segment about him on the podcast, and we're like, yeah, Ali's so good, free Ali. Like, he can be so good if you let him.
I've
just
loved
be
Mustafa.
free.
Yeah, I've loved Mustafa Ali since the Cruiserweight Classic. Like, I've loved him since then, and you're right. Like, he doesn't get his just due. He's so good.
But
He's
now
a good promo. He's a great wrestler. Like,
it's too late for him now. In WWE, he's damaged goods.
As producer boy shows the wildest screenshot of him. But no, like, he should genuinely be way more pushed than he is. And I think we've discussed it before. He had that like one promo that got canceled that he put out on Twitter that was like, looking like a really cool gimmick. The guy's a really good wrestler. And he's kind of stuck at WWE where he is, so it's unfortunate.
It is, and like I love him, but they have done a great job of making me not want to see him. It's about to be, he didn't quite, but the match was whatever. You know, it's hard to get excited for a Dolph Ziggler match in 2023 or like 2022 or 2021 or 2020 or 2019 or 2018
since Survivor Series when Sting showed up.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. Then I'll give him the one pay-per-view after that because he had that amazing ladder match with Luke Harper.
Yeah,
best singles ladder match ever. Fuck out of here, Michaels and Razor Ramon.
Bold take. I like it.
Basic shit there, man. You know, blah, blah, blah. First ever do it, Trailblazers, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, bro. Babe Ruth couldn't get a hit off Randy Johnson. I don't care.
I firmly disagree with that, but that's a different podcast.
That is a different podcast, but he couldn't do it. That fat motherfucker could not swing his bat fast enough to do that.
Keep an eye out for Nick and Danny's baseball podcast coming soon to a new YouTube channel near you.
It's going to be great because I'm going to make bold, outlandish claims with no facts or research to back it up. And the Rev is going to, without doing research, no information about the subject somehow. It's going to be fucking phenomenal.
Tony Gwynn would have hit 400 in 1994 if there wasn't a strike.
You know what? I believe that, honestly. I love Tony Gwynn. I'll agree with that one.
And the Expos would have won that World Series. There you go.
100%. Let's go Expos. Fuck the Nationals. I like the Expos.
Hot take.
But the only thing I will say,
fans ever said, "Let's go Expos."
Yeah, I mean, I miss having two Canadian teams. You know.
Eh?
Yeah. Speaking of, this is a place I would appreciate that.
Canada,
yeah.
These guys are probably loving this shit. Go Expos. It's weird. Like, I know I'm like completely derailing the show here, but we don't go on tangents. Eric, put up the "We don't go on tangents" banner. The Expos, I never hated them. I actually kind of liked them. They were kind of cute because they played in Canada.
Yeah, they had the silly little field with the grass instead of the dirt. You know, like that. And it was nice.
They played in Olympic Stadium, and the only reason they had it was because they had the Olympics at one time, and it was fun.
Yeah,
and they had some cute players and Vlad, who was
of course,
Hall of Famer. And it was, but that year in '94, go look at that roster. It's insane.
How would you say that? Because he's saying it in the year spelling, but it's like, you know, so how do you?
Oh no, it's Canadian, so they just say "eh." You know?
Yeah, but how do you say it for that long? You know?
Eh.
That's pretty okay. All right, that's what I thought it would be too. But
it's just about that. All right, Eric, we can go back to the actual fucking show now.
Yeah. The only thing to say about the Ali Ziggler match is the ending was actually really cool. So Ziggler went for the Faymaster, and Ali just did a handstand instead of hitting his face on the mat. He did a handstand, pop back up, and rolled up Ziggler. That was fantastic. John Blattner's visited that stadium. What?
Good old Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, that's awesome, John.
I was just playing it the other week in MVP 05.
Oh, nice. I mean, I play MLB 2001 from 2002 from time to time. Vince Scully doing the announcing, very nice. But
Great day for baseball.
that was good. That was good. But yeah, it was a cool finish. Just watch the finish of the match. Everything else doesn't matter. I don't know why Ali was so surprised to beat Dolph. Dolph's the loser, but
Dolph is weird because he's still like the gatekeeper of the mid card, and we
maybe
we
the
all,
lower mid card now.
fair, but like we all expect him, I think, to lose at this point, right?
Yeah,
and it's no disrespect to him. He can still put on a good match. I would just I don't know about this one. I didn't see it, but like he can still put on a good match, but he can also help get guys over. So like he's still doing his job very well. It's just he hit a point of diminishing returns, and now he's just the gatekeeper of the lower mid card.
yeah. So he's worse than Big Show now.
I said that, John. Expos 94 World Series champions put in the books.
Oh man, it's so funny.
They were so good. Pedro was on that team.
Yeah, man, that's think about now. Pedro's fucking Pedro Martinez. I don't want to get into a tangent about Pedro, but he's fucking fantastic. I never know when they're gonna have volume.
Yeah, that's also loses the match. I think that was a stage thing from the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. The video itself.
Oh, I'm sure. I never believe shit like that.
Yeah, there was a couple like the first couple were real, and now people are just
Yeah, but you can tell when they're real. They're not filmed that well.
Yeah. Now people are just throwing away like $1,000 on plasmas because you can. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that being said, I almost just took one off a street. So
nice. I really want to take a sewer cap that's outside my job. It keeps like cars keep running it over, and it slowly moves closer and closer to the front door of my job, and I want to just grab it. But it's a sewer lid.
I would leave it because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles needed to get away. So,
but that's the thing. It's like it's like a double. It's like the cap. Like there's a cap and a lid, and so this part's off, but the sewer's not open. There's another there's actual lid that encloses it. So this is just a cap that rests on top of that lid. So I kind of want to take it and then paint it.
It'd be heavy. Like
it probably is. It's probably gonna be like 200 fucking pounds because everything is like 200 pounds.
That's not a one-man job.
Yeah, including Eric. But I'm sorry.
Like, I'm a street sign guy. I have quite a few street signs. Don't come after me, feds. Like I do have a few. After Sandy, I grabbed a bunch of them.
Cool. You should donate one to my garage, but we can talk about that later. Because I have quite the collection too.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What is that? I don't understand that reference. But after that, Miz has a little backstage segment where he's being interviewed. He doesn't want to talk about it because it's him and Reese's anniversary. And she got him a gift, and he was very surprised. He's like, I'm gonna save that for next week because Canada sucks. So there we go. This show had a lot of, hey, watch next week or watch the week after. Like, there was not a lot of, hey, this is the show you need to watch. A lot of it was next week is the show you need to watch. And this was one of those things. Granted, it's the Miz, so who gives a fuck? But like, it's still a setup for something next week. And then he references half-court shot that didn't count in the All-Star game. Whatever.
Okay, so I watched that live. It was crazy. The man hit like a 40-footer. There was only 0.7 seconds left on the clock, so it didn't count. But he genuinely hit like a half-quarter.
I mean, good for him. It's the most impressive thing he'll ever do.
There been time. Outside of marrying Maurice, yeah, probably.
I mean, I don't think it's super. It would be more impressive if Miz was like an ugly dude. So like it's, the half court shot was, I think, more impressive. But yeah, it's the most impressive thing he'll ever do in his career. So good for you, Miz. Mention it all you want. I won't mind that.
It was not only a really nice shot. It was one of the two best highlights of All-Star Weekend. which says a lot about All-Star Weekend. But again, different podcast.
Yeah, definitely one. I wouldn't want to be on that one, honestly.
Shout out Matt McClung.
Basketball is. I'm pretty sure that's fake, but whatever.
Well, a white guy won the dunk contest. So.
Oh yeah, that shit's fake, bro. That's predetermined.
It's not fake, son. It's predetermined.
After that, Cody comes out and he cuts a promo. Not gonna lie.
Cheeky baby.
It was not Cody's best pop. It's not like he got a bad reaction, but it was the weakest Cody pop in the past few weeks.
Do you think that was because it was just in Montreal and they were so high on
First of all, it was in Ottawa. Not all Canadian cities, provinces, or states are all the same. That being said, I don't know what's a city and what's a province, what's a state. I don't know. Do other places even have states? I don't know. James is foreigner, so I can't even ask him. But I do think it's not because it is. It's because people are just sad that's the people of Canada are sad that Sammy's not champion. So it's not them. That's them politely taking it out on Cody, where it's like, we don't hate you, Cody, but like we wanted our guy.
You're not Sammy.
Yeah.
I also feel like the guy with the American flag tattooed into his neck in his own logo is not going to get a huge pop in Canada.
I mean, I don't know why. What have we ever done to antagonize Canada, you know?
We invaded 4 times, but we lost all 4 of them, so.
Yeah. And I don't even mean that. Who cares about that? I was more alluding to the weird thing in pop culture where it's a running joke to make fun of people for being from Canada. Like How I Met Your Mother and like, you know, that shit. All shows like that where it's like, oh yeah, the joke is just that they're from Canada. Paul Girls gonna be a family man. You know, but
with the memes tonight. Shout out producer boy, giving us good memes.
Yeah, there we go. But you know, he's immediately, when I say quickly, I mean immediately interrupted by Paul Heyman, who's via satellite, apparently from backstage, according to him, but with the neck brace on, selling the stunner. Great bump at the Chamber, Heyman.
He took it better than Vince ever did.
Yeah.
I did watch the Chamber for the record. I finished it at 5:00 in the morning.
Oh, that's great. I assume you felt nothing, but you know, it was a good show.
I felt a lot.
Canadians used American history textbooks until the 90s. Oh man, so their grasp of history might be a little skewed too. All right. Good to know. But yeah, Heyman tells Cody to, go be with his family and just brings up his family a lot, brings up Dustin a lot. And just says, are you going to be able to handle being the champion, wrestling 200 nights a year, doing media and charity events like 50 to 60 days a year, being away from your family for so long, starting a family. I have to finish. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I thought that was a joke. It was just what he said. Okay.
Yeah, that was the end of the promo.
Yeah. So
strong ending.
I think this was the weakest Cody promo since coming back, honestly. But there's overall a fine segment. I don't think much of note was said. Like, Paul Heyman went there without really actually going there, and then Cody just said, "Oh, you're good, Roman." Even though he didn't do anything, he wasn't there. He's like, but like the quote said, I'll say what I have to say to you face to face. I'll beat your WrestleMania, finish the story. Blah blah blah. Fine, whatever segment. There'll be better ones, so I don't want to shit on it too hard because there'll be better ones next week and the week after and the week after.
Like we care. I don't give a. Look, she's crying. Do you hear her crying? Like we care. I don't give a.
Oh man, I probably need to use that on our Instagram and our social medias. Because yeah, man. But we'll get there. Cody's gonna have cry a bunch from now until Mania, and then at Mania, and then the Raw after Mania, and maybe the Raw after the Raw after Mania. He'll stop crying, but Lord only knows he's crying enough for you and him. Am I right? Did you see this promo or?
I saw Paul's quip about Roman having a wife and kids, but he doesn't. And that was all I saw, and I saw the end. Quite frankly, all I needed to see was Paul's quip, and I'm good. It was funny. There you go.
All right. Well, like I said, I promise you it'll be better next week and the week after. This was a filler week for this story.
Yeah, exactly. Because like they just need Cody to be on to just be like, oh, okay, like remember Cody Rhodes is actually the guy facing Roman at WrestleMania, because everything was so revolved around Sammy right now. They were just they could do a throwaway promo, for lack of a better phrase, and it would be okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Don't waste your good content on something no one's going to remember because it can get overshadowed by something else.
Yeah, because the bloodline stuff isn't done yet. So instead of trying to juggle both, bad analogy, but trying to juggle both equally sized balls, they're juggling a heavier and a smaller ball right now. Like Cody's dripping into the bloodline story, where right now the bloodline story is mainly about Sammy and Jay. So they're gonna bridge apart more, but for now, Cody's just dripping his way in slowly.
That gif is going to very much upset Chad because he's an Eagles fan and they lost. So,
Chad, you're an Eagles fan? What the fuck?
Apparently, I learned that when I wore a Chiefs jersey the week before the Super Bowl on the pod.
Why, Chad?
No, sir. He didn't say why.
Well, let's wait for him to answer. Chad, why do you like the Eagles? We got time. Any day now, Chad. All right, whatever, man. Look, the only reason to like the Eagles is if you're an It's Always Sunny fan, and that's the only acceptable reason. But also, I don't care.
I did like that 05 team with Donovan McNabb and Brian, and Westbrook and T.O., the one that made the Super Bowl when they faced the Pats. I did like that team.
Look, I'm be honest with you.
I just like those guys.
I don't remember any Super Bowls besides the two Giants versus Patriots ones. And even then, I don't remember the second one. I just remember the first one where the Giants ended their 18-0.
As a Jets fan, thank you, Giants, for beating the fucking Patriots.
yeah, that was amazing. Every other Super Bowl has just been. I enjoyed it at the time, and then it ended, and I never thought about it again.
I will proudly wear my brother's Jeremy Shockey jersey anytime I go to a Giants game, just because they won those two Super Bowls.
Understandable.
And also, Jeremy Shockey's the man.
But anyway, yeah, Cody got the promo, blah, blah. We can move on. Content. Next up, we had Asuka versus Nikki Cross. Fun match. It went longer than I thought it would. I kind of wish Asuka would just murder people and destroy them right now if she's a killer clown, I feel like there's we need
NXT Asuka back. Like, just go out there, win a match in like 45 seconds type of Asuka.
Yeah, and maybe Nikki Cross isn't the person to do that, but you have Dana Brooks on the roster. Fuck, you could even do it with Candice LeRae, bro. Like, she's being very disservice on this roster, but it was a fine match. Asuka, of course, won. Her submission is it's cool looking, but it makes it impossible for people to tap. So that's kind of deflating because you don't get the pop is always delayed until the bell's rung, as opposed to because you can't visually see them tapping because they're going like that instead of tapping out. But yeah, Asuka versus Bianca is the odder of the choice. It should be Rhea Bianca, Asuka Charlotte. It's right there. It's right there. It's right in front of Triple H's big fucking stupid nose. Like, bro, it's so obvious. But I will also say that and this is going to be controversial to the marks and smarks out there, but Nikki Cross was better off as Nikki ASH. Her changing back has done absolutely nothing. She has won no matches besides beating, funny enough, Dana Brooke. Since reverting back to her old character, you might as well have stayed the superhero. Nikki ASH was a Raw Women's Champion and a multiple-time tag team champion. I mean, Nikki Cross was a tag team champ, but like you might as well have just stayed in a different gimmick as opposed to doing nothing. But this is, as they alluded to later in the show, which I didn't write a note for, so I'm going to mention it now. Candice was cutting a promo because she has a match next week with Piper Niven. Again, there's a lot of stuff for next week. And she bumped into Nikki backstage, like, why have you been stalking me in my backstage interviews, more or less? And Nikki mumbled, I don't have any friends. All my friends are gone. So we're going to get Sanity versus The Way in some shape or form on the WrestleMania pre-show. Yes, Eric, we're saying this at the same time, more or less. But yeah, expect that on your kickoff show for WrestleMania, because there's no way that's happening on the main show.
I need James right now because the leader of the Gym Pack Zone would know whether or not Eric Young is still under contract. I don't think he is, based on last week when I was on the Gym Pack Zone, but
I was also there in the background, but I also don't know.
I genuinely have no idea. I could do a quick Google,
but no, I think we're getting that match in some the way, shape, or form. But Nikki was better off just being the superhero. Still, she's done is, since reverting back, is lose. So she might as well just lost as a superhero.
I like the gimmick. It's her losing consistently when you go back to the gimmick that pisses me off.
Yeah, because she could have been a contender for Bianca upon the character revision, but we had to have that 5th or 6th Bayley match, and Nikki just lost her first match back as Nikki Cross.
I also feel like Nikki, and because this is kind of the role she served in NXT, like when she's absolutely batshit crazy, she just drives stories very well. So she doesn't have to be in the title picture.
No, she doesn't. But
drive side stories. I mean, one of the fucking best things I've ever seen in NXT was when Malachi Black came back, and or I guess at the time Aleister Black, and she was like, he's coming, and to fuck with I think it was Ciampa, like just to fuck with him, and it was amazing. Like when she's doing shit like that as her crazy self, it's way better than her just being crazy and losing all the time.
Yeah, I agree. And this is something, it's a lower card version of that, but it's something. But it's a Candice who also just keeps fucking losing. So I guess one of them will get a win at least. But a comment from a few minutes ago that I missed from Eric: does Bianca beat Asuka? I hope not. For her sake, for Bianca's sake, this title reign needs to end. A full year is plenty. You can end it at WrestleMania. Give Asuka her first fucking win at WrestleMania, for God's sake.
I was about to say, she needs a win at WrestleMania. And I don't think, as we were just saying, as you have a gimmick shift with Nikki, with Asuka, I feel like it's a bit different. And obviously, Triple H is very high on Asuka. He let her go undefeated for a year and a half before she even got up to the main roster. So I imagine she's going to beat Asuka. She's going to beat Bianca.
Yeah, and as to the tweet that Eric just put up, Bianca hasn't. Bianca has beat bigger names. She beat Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Becky Lynch, but she beat this version of Bayley who doesn't win shit either. And this very watered down, very bored Alexa Bliss. So her title reign is it's on the verge of getting stale, and it's come to a natural conclusion. Also, Asuka got a bigger pop at the Rumble than Bianca's ever gotten, than a lot of people have ever gotten. That still surprised me how big that pop was at the Rumble.
I'm telling you, man, the gimmick shift is a big deal.
Nah, she got the pop just from the music before they even noticed. People are just that happy to see Asuka back, but. Reinvent, because it's got to end. It can't keep going. She's not a strong enough character yet. I mean, hey, you got to be excited for your matches,
Fuck Ultimate Warrior, though.
Wow, man, that guy's dead. How dare you say something about a dead guy? I would never.
To me, he was a schmuck.
I mean, he was a schmuck. I understand his fucking last words on TV were very poetic and, almost Nostradamus-like, but,
he was a schmuck.
yeah, I don't disagree. So yeah, Asuka won, and then after the match, Bianca got in the ring, did the holding up the title, but Asuka started throwing up blue. That's all that happened.
Blue. I thought it was purple.
Yeah, no, I understand. For those of you who don't know, my co-podcaster tonight is ignorant of colors, if you will,
Good way
and
to put it.
but yeah, it was just throwing a little blue spit up, and yeah, sure, we'll see where this goes. That's the thing. I don't know if Bianca's the right person to bounce back and forth with Asuka's amazing promo style of yelling in Japanese and just, portraying her message, relaying her message through intensity and body language. I don't know if Bianca, but then again, neither is Charlotte. That's the thing right now is both the champions aren't the strongest promos, but and Asuka is a very amazing promo despite not being able
the
to
language barrier.
Yeah.
I do kind of like the idea that I don't think we've really seen Asuka versus Bianca, and I feel like this is one of the first times we've seen Bianca be, I don't want to say afraid, but definitely, yeah, what you see that look right there, she's definitely unnerved by this, and that's not something we've normally seen because I think Bianca has been a person who is like, okay, I can take on any challenger. I can take on anybody who's going to come after my title because I know I can beat them. But like Asuka's head games are completely different than anything she's ever faced before. So
she literally just fought Spooky Alexa Bliss at the last pay-per-view.
Spooky Alexa Bliss is bullshit.
I mean, I agree, but I'm just saying, this isn't. It's similar vibes.
But it was also only half Spooky Alexa Bliss because she wasn't really part of the Wyatts yet. She's just kind of maybe a little bit, and that didn't come up during the match. So, and Asuka's is the difference between Spooky and I'm gonna fucking murder your family. And that's
no, I agree.
You know what Asuka is right now.
You know what I'd love to see? I would love to see Asuka just in like subway stations with their clown makeup on, or like in the forest. Remember a couple years ago when we just had fucking killer clowns running around New York and other parts of the country? Like that was a real thing.
That was like 2012.
No, that was like 2018. That was
all right, fine. It was still 5 years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. Like that shit fucking that was wild, bro. That was just a thing that was happening. Like what?
Fucking Boondocks.
Like that was all right. Producer boy, I hope you're tweeting all these people, letting them know we're using their tweets on the podcast. Reach out to each one of them,
or at least I'm a like.
No, don't do that. Don't give them that. Just message them and say that instead. Make them tune in in hopes to see it. But yeah, after that, Seth had a promo. He didn't really say much. I basically said Logan's not here, so I'm gonna beat the shit out of Miz instead because they're having a match later. And then, God, okay, hold on. So then, MVP and Omos are backstage. And they challenged Lesnar to a match at WrestleMania. And, oh God, please turn out to actually be real despite common sense and logic dictating that you're an imaginary friend of everyone, and that the idea of you existing is blasphemy in and of itself. Please, despite everything I just said, be real and fucking stop this from happening, Hi, Jackson.
Hey, what's going
Lilia,
on?
You seem like a real person. Yeah, please, let's stop this from happening. I don't think anyone in their right mind, even the most casual fan of just wanting to see big ass dudes fight each other, knows
big meat man slapping meat.
This is gonna suck. Please don't do it.
This feels like a Hurt Business setup type of deal. I don't know where exactly this direction is going with them, but we've seen MVP talking to Shelton and Cedric in the background of certain promos. Now we have this thing where he's challenging Lesnar after Bobby loses. I do think there's going to be some sort of hurt business. What am I looking for? Reformation, and they might throw Omos in the mix too. But they're coming back. I don't know who's going to face whom at WrestleMania, but I think that's the plan.
Oh my God!
Also,
Please,
if you haven't noticed, President's Day has gotten to be something fierce.
God, please, imaginary man in the sky, fucking smite me or anyone down to stop this from happening.
Smite them.
Holy shit! God, this is the darkest timeline. Holy shit! So then we had Miz versus Seth, and oh boy, I am so sick of Miz and Seth Rollins wrestling each other. It doesn't always happen, but it's happened too much for my liking. Like, they were in that cool triple threat with Balor at WrestleMania 2018, I want to say. And then they had a pay-per-view match, the best match of Miz's pathetic career. And then they've like, I didn't want to see this. It was fine. Like,
I'll put it this way: the highlights didn't show up on Squared Circle.
there was none. It just wasn't.
That's my
Again,
point.
another time where it's like, just have Seth murder him because he's pissed at Logan, and Logan's a way bigger deal. You got to sell for Logan Paul. You don't have to sell for The Miz. I'll tell you that right now. For all the shit I talk about The Miz, you could squash The Miz and Miz will be fine the next week. It is totally. You don't have to give The Miz anything in this. What does he benefit from getting anything in this? Any hook Miz has for the next week is based on whatever his stupid gift is going to be. And that'll be some sports entertainment nonsense. And it may be funny or it may be terrible, but you never know with The Miz. So why did he need any offense in this match? He could have got murdered to show that Seth is pissed off for Logan costing him the chamber match and the U.S. title. Could be Rollins going against John Cena if it wasn't for Logan Paul.
This feels like a match, and again, I didn't see it, so I'm just kind of reading the Square Circle review here. It said referee stoppage. This feels like a match Seth probably should have got DQ'd just for being so pissed off, the way you're describing.
Yeah, or even if they kept the referee stoppage, because he did eventually just kept hitting stomps, and the referee was like, okay, no more, like he's done.
Yeah, he's dead.
You could do that, but Miz got so much
already
offense. He got so much offense in this match. He did not need to get any. It did not benefit anyone, bro. Seth is going to face a real fucking wrestler, Logan Paul, okay? He's not. Why does he need to give Miz any offense, bro? Miz, maybe work a little harder, and in a few more years, after like 28, 35 years of wrestling, you can be as good as Logan Paul. But for now, like, there was no need for that.
It's a shame they couldn't have Logan show up at a Celebrity All-Star game, beef with Miz, and then fuck over Seth or something. It would have been fun.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been. You know, I'm sorry. You know, as real quick, I want to qualify something. I don't like Logan Paul, the person. You know.
I agree.
He could get smited down by the imaginary man in the sky, and I'd be totally okay with that. You know,
phenomenal wrestler, though.
He could get hit by a bus, and I would hope that the bus driver is okay, you know, and not traumatized for that.
Relax, Regina George.
But you know, the wrestler, yeah, fantastic wrestler.
It's so annoying how good he is at wrestling.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
But he picked it up on like Tuesday, and he's so good at it.
Fucking wild. But yeah, moving on. I don't want to spend any more time on this.
Fair.
So we had a Ding Dong Hello segment where Bailey's special guests were the Huggers, and they had a nice little like a video intro for Ding Dong Hello. Not instead of just her being in the ring, it was a little, you know, almost like the Firefly Funhouse like stinger.
I need to stop the show. Producer boy, it's Ding Dong Hello with the Huggers, not Damage Control.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but yeah, so the Huggers were there. They were the guests, and Bailey was just like, how does it feel being the greatest tag team champions of all time? Which, you know,
thank you, Eric.
Bailey and Sasha were the only good women's tag champs. So, you know, and funny line there, but you know, Dakota's talking, she's saying words, which is good because I often forget what Dakota's voice sounds like because they don't get to speak much. You know, you don't hear from the huggers very often. Great over the top facial expressions, but they don't speak much.
You just disrespected the hell out of the Iconics, and I'm mad at you. They weren't good tag champs, but they were just phenomenal. Period. So
yeah.
Put some respect on their name.
You know what? You're right. I apologize to the Iconics, but they weren't the best tag champs. It was still Sasha and Bayley, but
you're right. But they were still great. You said they were the only good ones, and that is not true.
Okay, that's fair. All right, they were the only great ones were the Iconics, were just good tag champs. Great wrestler or great characters, but only good tag champs. But anyway, Becky Lynch interrupts because this feud is still going on, but at least it's kind of different now. And she says, you know, you guys are talking about great US champs. It's been 9 moon cycles since you last defended the titles. They're getting dusty. You gotta put them on the line. They're like, I think I'm gonna take those titles in WrestleMania. And they're like, you and what army? And then Lita comes out. So you're gonna be her and Lita versus the Huggers next week on Raw. You know, they go back and forth a little bit more. It was a very nice, funny moment where, as they were about to get in the ring, Bayley was like off mic, but kind of to the mic saying, you better go through the door if you're going to come in this ring. You better, you better go through the door from the set. And they did. So it was nice. And then, they're going to have a title match, but the way they kept framing it, like they want to go into WrestleMania as champions, really makes it seem like they're not going to win next week. But I don't know. Like, this is cool. I'll see how it plays out next week. But I'm not sure what's the end game here. What's the WrestleMania end game here? Is it them being tag champs? Is it them going into Mania as champs and defending against Ronda and Shayna? Like, what's the end goal? Or is it Lita and Trish versus the Huggers and another Becky Bayley match? Is it a 6-woman match? What is it gonna be? Like, I don't understand the end game here.
Definitely not a turn I was expecting. I don't know what they're gonna. You're right. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do here unless I didn't know they were gonna challenge next week. It would have made sense if this was just the plan for Mania, but why are you doing this next week?
Yeah, and they made such a point of it in the promo to say they want to go into Mania as champs. So, like,
you would think Lita in a match would be a WrestleMania thing. And instead we're going to do it on a Raw in February.
Yeah, and there was that report that Trish was going to be there last week too, or whatever, a couple weeks ago. But the plans changed and they have bigger... they have something else planned for her, and it's not what you would think, but like, there's nothing left.
What, are Trish and Lita going to win the titles? Are Trish and Lita going to win the titles at Mania?
Well, that was one thing I said. Maybe they'll do that, and then Bayley and Becky in another match, because technically they're one apiece. As much as this feud has been going on, they've only had 2 matches. And you know what's a weird thing about this feud that I noticed is that Becky has not faced either the Huggers in singles matches. Which is like wild because you're facing someone with goons and you haven't fought the goons at all. It's really weird.
Yeah, which is 100% the WWE booking style. Is you face the goons and then
like you beat the goons, lose to the boss, beat the goons, beat the boss. Like it's fucking. It's weird that it hasn't happened. But for some reason, it just hasn't happened. But yeah, I don't know what the end game is here, so I'll just see how it plays out next week. Maybe, like I said, maybe they win it and they go on to defend against Ronda and Shayna. I don't know where that leaves Bayley though. Like that's the thing is like, again, I mean, maybe the Becky Ronda match was off the table, but
would that be like the back doorway to get the Ronda Becky? The Ronda Becky match
isn't a tag match. Yeah, maybe.
But I don't want that. I want them straight up.
Yeah, I don't know. That's I really would be pissed if Bayley and Becky don't get good spots on the card. Like, bro, they've been fucking carrying shit for months, and Trish Stratus of the show tonight indeed was planned for the segment before it even took place. There was creative change. I don't believe that. Yeah, I don't know if I believe that per se. I don't. What creative changes? Like, what
I will
could
say
that possibly be?
I saw SRS tweet out. He was the one who initially reported that Trish was going to be on the show, and then he was like, "There was a change. I don't know why. I'll try to figure it out." So I haven't seen anything since then, but
like I mean, because that's a good way to. Yeah.
I was like Kermit, the insider on Reddit. He did put in the live thread. He was like, Becky and Lita are going to go for the titles. So that happened. I just don't know why Trish didn't show up.
I don't know. I just think there's good, like, I don't know. This could be fine. Like, it's just weird. Like, I don't know. I'm at a point where, and this is where I'm just going to be a biased, like, Becky fan, but I'd like her to pick up some more wins. She's only won like 2 matches since returning, or 3 matches, or just 2 matches actually since returning. So it would be nice for her to not lose all the time. It'd be nice for Bayley to not lose all the time either. But Bayley's character is a little more, predisposed to losing, so that's fine. But if this leads to some sort of a 6-woman tag at Mania, I'd be down with that. And maybe you do the title match there now because, why the fuck not? Because honestly, at that point, the 6-woman tag is bigger than a tag title match at Mania. Honestly,
so what would it be? Trish, Lita, and Becky versus Bayley and the Huggers?
Yeah, and then I don't care what Ronda and Shayna do at Mania. I don't.
It is insane how far Ronda's stock has fallen.
It is, and it's, not all Charlotte's fault, but it's mostly Charlotte's fault.
It always comes back to that.
It does, no, because if that match didn't fucking suck at Mania last year, if Ronda had won instead of lost for no reason just to win the title at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah. Or they actually did motherfucking Becky versus Ronda last year like they should have.
Yeah, maybe
a better match.
Like
she was the baddest woman on the planet. She got her head kicked in, and then she, went crawling to WWE, and now her stock just continues to fall.
Yeah, it's whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck about Ronda as a person, but like as a character, like just you had so much money that you've kind of just thrown away because Charlotte wanted that match. What's funny? I'm so sorry I do this all the time. I shit on Charlotte, but like someone's got to do it, I guess. But I just saw a headline on Facebook and I made the mistake of clicking on it. But
Eric, you don't even have to play that. I already know how that meme sounds.
I'm the meme, man. That's what I'm talking about. This means I'm the meme, man.
Shit.
So much college football.
So Charlotte,
fuck Michigan,
in an interview said she doesn't want to unify the titles, and like I know it's gonna trigger Eric, but like because there would be less opportunities for the other women. And it's like weird because I agree, but also how dare you talk about the other woman having less opportunities, Charlotte? That is so rich coming from you of all people. Like, that is ridiculous. No, Charlotte isn't completely wrong. If you want to unify the titles, you need a mid-card title. One title for a whole division is not enough. If there's a mid-card title, fine. That's that. Roman Reigns, the 2 titles has nothing to do with it. It's one title now. There could be 1 belt. That's fine. But there's mid-card belts. So again, it doesn't work. And look how important Gunther is with the IC title. Look how important Theory is with the US title. You can't just have the women only have the 1 title. You need another title. You can have a mid-card title. You can do that.
It would give the women more to do, and they try to do it with the tag titles, and they just don't give a fuck about it. So, like, I almost feel if they gave the women a mid-card title, they wouldn't care. Like
Yeah.
they've shown zero effort into the women's tag titles. So like, you really think they're going to do anything with a women's mid card title?
Yeah, because it's not a tag title. WWE hits tag titles, not specifically women anymore.
However, I do agree with Danny, Eric, where I don't think Roman's reign, no pun intended, is so good because he holds both titles. It's the length and how he's done it. If you had him just being either the Universal or the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and he was still doing this reign, I think it would still hold the same weight.
Yeah. Also, you don't need
It's an aesthetic thing. He's got 2 titles. Good for you, Machine. Like,
you don't need 2 women's mid card titles, Eric. We never said that. Just give him the one. You don't need 2. Just
no, I was saying like if there was just a women's mid
yeah,
card title.
yeah. No, I'm saying we both said A, but he's misconstruing it. But no, but if someone else had a secondary main title, it wouldn't be as important as Roman's unified title. Yeah,
hard
maybe.
Disagree. No, hard disagree. I'm sorry. They did decades of there was a champion on Raw and there was a champion on SmackDown, and that shit worked out fine. And both titles, obviously, the WWE Championship was a little bit more because it was Vince's dad's title, and it was a little bit heavier. But the World Heavyweight Championship was a big deal back in the day. So I don't understand.
Then when John Cena held it too, also.
Yeah.
So it pretty much became whichever title John Cena held was the more important title. See, that's the thing is I was going to bring up is that I think the best example of your point of view, Rev, is that without having the 2 titles, we don't get Cena and Batista at the same time. Which means we don't get Cena at that point because Batista was the guy. He was the one that won that Rumble, was going into the main event against Triple H. I mean, I didn't watch wrestling at this time, but that things work out a lot differently if it wasn't for the 2 titles then. But in general, I understand because the way they portrayed them over the years, I get where Eric's coming from too. But if Roman was just the Universal Champion this whole time, it's still the same thing. Having both titles means
or
nothing.
WWE World Heavyweight Champion, either one. I think it would have worked out fine.
Yeah, it's literally just that he's the main event. So he might as well have both titles because the other title's never going to main event with him being his champion.
It's an aesthetic thing. He's got 2 titles. It makes him look cooler.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we all agree. If you want to unify the women's, you got to give him a mid-card title because then, even someone like Bayley will never win the title again if there's only one. Someone as good as Bayley, a Hall of Famer, will never. The Rumble's already silly because there's 2 Rumbles and only 1 main event. And because I already said earlier, night 1 is not a main event. And
I'm going to disagree again because, we had this discussion on the Elimination Chamber preview show. You have the Chamber as the next pay-per-view, and then you have the winner of the Chamber be the number 1 contender for the other title.
Yeah, and that's fine.
I also think this comes back to a brand split thing, and that is another entire different conversation. But
they just lost the Rumble. So what, Eric? What does that mean? Oh, they lost a match where you don't get pinned or submitted. You get thrown over the top rope, which happens all the time in regular matches. Second more. Yeah. See, you're saying it in a patronizing way, but it's you couldn't win the silly battle royal, so now you have to go through the grueling elimination chamber.
Zagaki.
Yeah, it's literally it's a last chance, brutal fucking match you have to go through it. That's why I like Elimination Chamber where it is, because otherwise, and we were saying this to James, who was so very wrong, very, very wrong, so absurdly, obscenely wrong.
As usual.
Yeah, because it's I don't want it to be the pay-per-view for Mania. I'm but then how do you have a chamber match in any other context? You're just going to have a feud with 6 people, and you're there's only one way to fucking settle this. An elimination chamber? No. It's it's the perfect, because what bigger stakes than going to WrestleMania? It's fine where it is.
I'm going to disagree again because the Rumble means something because you get to pick your opponent. You get to call your shot. Like that's the worth of winning the Rumble is, oh, I get to pick who I go against, as opposed to the Chamber where, like, just, you know, if Brock Lesnar is the champion on one show and The Miz is the champion on the other, and no disrespect to him, but I'm going against The Miz because I think I have a better shot at that. Or, you know, if there's a blood rivalry going on, I'm going to pick that guy I want to go kill, or girl, I guess, if, you know, the women's champ. But I'm going to go against that person I want to go after instead of the other person who maybe even if I have a better shot against them, I want to go take out that person. So whatever the Royal Rumble winner chooses, then the other person basically has to, for lack of a better phrase, pick up the scraps.
Also, you're being very hyperbolic with meaning nothing, because everyone remembers the Rumble, whereas not as many people are going to remember the Chamber. So cool. I mean, the other champ looks bad by not being Roman, or in this case, yeah, you know what? In this particular example, I agree with you, because Rhea picking Charlotte made Bianca look a little worse, which is crazy because Bianca's had the 1-year title reign, where Charlotte's on her 87th meaningless title reign.
Plus,
so
the story was better with Bianca. So.
Yeah. So actually, in this case, choosing Charlotte made both titles seem worse, honestly.
But if you're smart, what you have is you have your two champions lined up. You have with one person who's going to win the Rumble and challenge the one champ, and then you have a feud on the Elimination Chamber side, and then that person wins the Chamber, and they feud with the other person. Like, it's just a matter of booking things properly.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, I think Edge winning in 2010 was a good example. He chose Jericho because that's who he had a blood feud with.
Yeah,
and then the other match was who gives a fuck, but it was probably John Cena versus someone. Or like 2020 when Drew won, chose Lesnar, and then the other match was supposed to be Roman versus Goldberg, two equally big matches, you know?
Spear versus Spear.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, if you hate the Chamber for Mania, that's fine. That's wrong. No, why would you want a random? See, this is what I just explained how James was wrong about this. So you're wrong in the exact same way, Eric. Why would the Chamber be a random time of year? When would you organically have a Chamber? The Chamber is the last. It makes so much more sense, and
it's a last resort.
You are wrong, and that is fine because it's an opinion. It's a really bad opinion. This is the worst opinion you've ever had. But like, I'm explaining why you're wrong. But like, I'd rather have
not a good argument there, bud.
Yep. I mean, in that case, you know what? You really got us there. But no, the Chamber for Mania is good. They just don't use it like they used to, where they would actually change titles like before Mania. Like, that's the only problem, is the booking of it now. It being there now is great. I don't give a fuck. We don't get that Santino moment in the Chamber otherwise. Like, we don't get the fucking Shawn Michaels coming through the gate to cost Undertaker. Like, you know, there's no organic Elimination Chamber, bro. There's no organic 6-person fucking feud.
I can understand what he's saying, like what he was trying to get to, but it would be so convoluted to get to a 6-person feud. It would be insane.
Yeah, and to be honest, Fatal 4-Ways aren't organic. Triple Threat's very, very organic, but Fatal 4-Ways aren't. So forget it. Fucking 6 people in a match. It's so dumb to have a why would you have a random one?
The amount of
what situation where it's like, man, I have all these number one contenders all of a sudden. I guess I need to have an Elimination Chamber. That's no.
Even if you had it as a grudge match, the amount of intersecting storylines that would need to come together, it'd be 6 people trying to intersect. That's a real fucking heavy burden on the writing there. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah, there's.
I get what he's trying to say, but man, that's a tough call.
All right, he'll concede on the Chamber placement, but not the unification. That's fine. I mean, I just don't think the women should do it unless they have a mid-card title, which you agreed with. So you didn't concede, but you met in the middle on that one. We met in the middle on the.
Hey, reasonable people can meet in the middle. Look at that.
Yeah. But it's okay.
Congress.
It's okay. Like, we had to explain it to James too. He was misguided, but we'll see what happens next week with that. Real quick, we had Gable versus Bronson Reed. Don't care, didn't care. One thing that bothered me in this match is Gable teased hitting a suplex. He had him up like off his feet and he was bending backwards. Very impressive, but he didn't get to hit it. But then 2 seconds later, he bounces off the rope and takes him down with he takes some fucking big ass Bronson Reed with the forearm, like a running forearm. So like, why did you just let him hit the suplex? That makes
he
no
did
sense.
hit the suplex though, as I do believe.
No, I know, but like took him down with a forearm. Like, it just bothered me so much. Like, there's like
it's a deadlift.
He couldn't hit the suplex.
Forward velocity. It's different.
Yeah, one's less realistic. It's more realistic that Gable hit the German because he's fucking jacked. So it was weird. But yeah, why is Gable losing? I don't care about Bronson Reed. Like, he did great in the chamber though, but like, I don't care about
Don't worry,
him.
Otis is going to be a model. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, and I do care about that, but like, Gable deserves some fucking wins. Holy shit.
I love in kayfabe, like, only the hottest women in WWE find Otis just absolutely like tantalizing.
Right.
Like Mandy, and now whoever is running Maxim Models over on SmackDown. Like,
I think LA Knight.
Where you when I needed you, nigga? Where were you when I needed?
Oh man. Yeah, I didn't.
Speaking of getting canceled,
I didn't care about this match at all, but I am interested in whatever Otis does with Maximum Male Model. So, what a world. After this was weird, right? I hated this too, what happens next, but Elias is out there. The weakest pop of Elias's career. Like, I know he is like stale, and you know, we all realize that his brother was better than him, and now that he's gone, it's kind of like, all right, I guess we'll settle for you, Elias. But rest in peace, Ezekiel. But
did he die, or he's like some? Is he
he had a career-ending injury at the hands of Kevin Owens, and he's not gonna be able to wrestle again. But
that is a shame.
It
Damn
is.
KO.
It is more than a shame. Yeah, I don't know how the guy's a babyface right now, but you know.
My best wishes to Ezekiel. I hope he's able to live a long and prosperous life.
He said his walk with Elias catchphrase, and the crowd did not say it with him. It was so weird. Like, yeah, like no fucking reaction at all, which is very unlike Elias. That's how stale he's become. He's just as bad off as Corbin is. So he's basically setting up someone to interrupt him, and it's Bobby Lashley. And then Bobby just beats the shit out of him. And you know what? I just got deja vu instantly because I'm like, this is what happened at the Raw after WrestleMania I was at after WrestleMania 35. Elias got interrupted by Lashley specifically.
Man, you went to that? I got stuck in the rain and like cried my way home.
I did go to that. I literally just wanted to be there for the to chant "You deserve it" at Becky and Kofi. But
you know what? Fair. That's very fair.
Yeah. Fucking, it was so weird. I hated it. And they just beat him up and said mediocre shit. Basically, what I wrote in my notes was Lashley interrupts this mediocre segment to make it even more mediocre. And he just said, nobody gets out of the Hurt Lock. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, it's weird to think about Lashley getting a haircut. Does that mean Lashley's like...
As a man currently wearing a Chicago Bulls hat, like, yeah, guys who are bald get their head buzzed every like couple of days.
But you're not bald, like.
No, I was wearing a Chicago Bulls as I was. It was Michael Jordan joke.
No, I mean I understand that, but like, I don't know. It's a funny image to see Brock Lesnar, Slamash, and Bray versus Bobby. Yeah, that sounds. Horrible. I hate that.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man. What you were saying before, I think Omos is going to end up with the Hurt Business and Bobby. I think he could use the structure actually. You know. I
think Omos was at his best when he was a ninja, but
You're not wrong.
I agree
You're
to
not
disagree.
wrong.
So I think after this was the main event, because this episode was so boring, I kind of stopped writing notes after a while, or I wrote really short notes instead of. I usually try to at least put some details and stuff I like notice, but Edge took on Austin Game Theory in the main event for the U.S. title.
If I may, why?
Because Austin Theory put out an open challenge and Edge accepted it on. He put out the challenge on the post-show media scrum, and Edge accepted the challenge. I didn't watch it, so maybe he was eating muffins, maybe he wasn't, but.
Well, you think a Canadian's going to win the U.S. title in Canada? Fuck out of here.
You're right, and he did not. But it was a fun match. It was long.
America.
Yeah, way to show those freaking Canucks. I mean, come on, man. The
Mother
Canadian
Canuckers.
bacon isn't bacon, like
Mother Canuckers.
You think you got the best syrup, bro? You ever been to Vermont? You ever had syrup from Vermont? It's actually not my favorite, honestly, but
It's good.
yeah, it's good. I mean,
Early morning.
sheesh. Hey,
What?
this is his first time producing stuff. All right, he's trying to break into Hollywood, so we'll cut him some slack. But
We're still learning the platform, ladies and gentlemen.
it was very fun. It was a good match. Honestly, one of Edge's better matches since coming back. Besides maybe the Rollins. Obviously, the Rollins matches are going to be better. It's again, I've said it and said it again, but he's the best wrestler in WWE specifically. So, a fun match. Theory looked good. Edge looked good. Finn interfered at the end.
This is another video I don't actually need to hear because I use it a lot.
Yeah, of course this feud wasn't over. Why would it be over? Edge has just won every single time besides the one match. Of course the feud's not over. He's got to win one more time.
I saw something on Reddit. Edge hasn't been pinned. I think Edge hasn't been pinned like once since like 2021 or something. It was something. It was something crazy like that.
Yeah, he got pinned by Roman in 2021 and Seth in 2021, and that's
it. It was the Roman thing, and that was it.
Yeah, well, he got pinned by Seth.
The last one was Seth. You're right. Yeah.
The
last one was Seth, and then he hasn't been pinned since, which is nuts.
Yeah, dude, Edge doesn't put people over, man. That's the problem.
I don't blame him for that. I blame booking, but
no, I blame him. A lot of this seems like him.
Well, so I think that's a whole WWE versus AEW thing where, like, I feel like a lot of times, a lot of the guys in AEW who are older are kind of booked to lose. Like Jericho, when it's smart, will lose. In WWE, a guy like Edge doesn't lose because it's Edge. And, he's a legend, and legends don't lose in WWE. So it's just a booking decision. I don't mind it. It's, it is what it is.
I mean, why is this feud never ending? Because it's an Edge feud, bro. He's been back for 3 years and he's had 3 feuds. 4, I guess.
Are we getting to a point where Edge is like Jericho, where
yes,
like anytime you get sucked into the vortex and you're just there?
Yeah. Except Jericho usually at least loses to the person once or twice.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think we had this already.
This shit means something to me, man. Don't worry, you don't have to play the volume for that.
Fucking, I don't know. It's still going on. I guess we are getting that reported Hell in a Cell match between them and Mania, which will be great if it happens.
Cool with it. I'm cool with it.
But Finn needs to fucking win, bro.
Finn needs to win, and B, if I don't see Rhea Ripley hit a fucking riptide on Edge between now and Mania, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah. I just talk about shit I'm not in. It's wild that I'm more into Theory out of this right now.
Hey, I mean, we're literally talking about how Edge doesn't put people over. He just lost to Theory in a title match. So
I know, yeah. Finally,
he did put a guy over.
Look at that. Theory's in good company. He's in company with Seth, Orton, and Roman as the only people to beat Edge since he's returned. So good for you, Theory.
Way to be.
Yeah, I'm
Way to
mildly
represent America and that fucking north, our stupid ass neighbors to the north. Fuck Canada.
I'm mildly
Blame
excited.
Canada. Blame Canada for
WrestleMania.
everything. Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
I mean, Edge is yeah, I don't know. Edge is running out of time, yeah, because he's going to fucking AEW. So him and Christian can face their FTR. All right, so
what is Adam Copeland doing in the Impact Zone?
oh my god, it's gonna be great.
That's James's wet dream right there.
It's gonna be he's gonna be Cliff. It's sad, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be Cliff and Christian Cage, CCC versus FTR.
Cliff.
It's gonna be great, and you know they're gonna beat the shit out of Jungle Boy together.
I
It's
was gonna
be
say,
phenomenal.
I hope he beats the shit out of that piece of shit Jungle Boy.
Exactly, we're all here. Damian Priest. I just had great matches with Damian Priest last year, and now Austin Theory. I mean, yeah, technically, but
They've been like solid to go to, you know, some of them are great, but I don't think he's had a bad match since he's come back. It's just
no, his first match back was terrible.
Touche. But I don't think I don't think it's a matter of the match quality. It's more of we were expecting him to come back and put more people over, and he just hasn't done so. And I don't blame him. I just blame management.
Yeah, but like I don't know, he's got to have more say than the average guy, and there's no reason. Look, he obviously should win the feud with Orton, and like losing to Roman isn't putting Roman over. That was Roman still putting Edge over.
Yeah.
Roman had already surpassed Edge's level at that point.
He didn't lose to Roman. He got humiliated by Roman with Daniel Bryan. Like,
yeah, that
was a hell of a fucking ending.
Yeah, and like. You know, that's not like that's the thing is like, and I argued this back then. I'll argue it forever. That Edge was the odd man out in that match and not Bryan, and him thinking that he can work some magic with Roman and get people to turn around on Roman was an outdated boomer mentality, and it was also outdated because Roman had already revitalized his character by then and didn't need Edge's help, and again was past Edge's level at that point. So, you know, that was. I think I was saying this on Saturday to myself when I had no one with me, but
sorry.
Edge, Roman's the best part of Roman's title reign has been when he hasn't faced legends. The worst part of his title reign has been when he was just fighting legends, when he was fighting your Lesnar's, your Cena's, Edge, Goldberg. God, I forgot about that for a while, rightfully so.
I mean, like, it's a nice feather in his cap in terms of the reign itself, but yeah, it was definitely better when he was fighting obviously Jay in the beginning, and then
Kevin Owens.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was gonna go. When he was fighting guys like Kevin Owens and stuff. Seth,
and then
the Seth match might be the best match of this reign.
Yeah, but it was also the most out of place. Like it was so random, and then there was no payoff after either. But it was the best.
Disappointing, but it was not
in a vacuum of the one night.
Yeah.
It was the best. It was the best thing.
Also, Seth coming out in the Shield gear was so good.
Yeah, that's why in a vacuum in that one night, it was the best thing. The best match of his reign.
Oh, is the Demon coming back?
I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, and then hopefully he can fucking win.
That is a wrinkle into this whole thing.
Like if this all ends with Finn Balor beating Edge at WrestleMania
as a Demon, the Demon lost once to somebody. Oh, I forget
Roman,
who it was. To Roman. Oh yeah, with the stupid flop like a fish thing. Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, especially when I was talking about how all the best matches were when he wasn't facing legends. But
because strictly we don't talk about that.
Yeah, but yeah. So like I don't know. I hate that I'm so sour on Edge because when we're talking about AEW, I'm like, I don't like how we're so sour on Saraya already. Like this she just came back from injury, but it's like the same thing where it's like, but you're missing the mark. Like, and it's so close. It could just be really good, but
missing the marks.
Nice. So good. On that great note,
we're not going to do better than that. We're going to
let's end the show,
folks. I'm leaving.
Yeah, peace. be nice to animals. Don't drink and drive. Or you know what? I always say that, but apparently Canada will still let you back in if you're famous enough. So,
or if you have enough
joining us. Do you have a funny anything to say to end on? Do you have anything else to throw out there? Social medias, we have them. Check the description.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube, they're in the description below. If you're on Facebook,
you already found the social. So
yeah, you found one of them. If you're on Twitter, they don't let you do that because it's just a tweet. So
yeah, well, you're just a tweet, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. But
sure.
Yeah, everyone, get out, please. Have a good night.
Happy
Goodbye.
President's Day, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the long weekend. I certainly